Okay, Likkutei Torah Eikev, page 28, Ois Beis. Huh? Yeah. Okay, guys. Okay, so the Rabbi explained the first bracha Zana Sa'ilam, the man comes from this very lofty level. Moshe Rabbeinu brings it down. That's the level of the bracha. Then he says in Beis, the Yeshua Tiklan Bechas Haaretz, Yeshua instituted the bracha of Al Haaretz Halamazin. Over there, it doesn't say third person Hazan Sa'ilam. It says V'hulad Neichach Neidalacha. It's Chemet Shenasata, whatever, all the expressions. Sha'ata Zan. L'chein Bechas Haaretz Meschila V'neidalacha. In the level of a Higdol, which is the level of Bittul Hayesh. Yechudet Tata. If you say the concept of Bittul, Bittul means something exists and it has to be nullified. If it doesn't exist, you can't have the concept of Bittul. Now, the first bracha Yechudet Ilah, the Moshe Rabbeinu, you can't say Neidal Cha, we submit and bottle to you, because there's no you there's no us that's bottled to the you. But now that this Neidal Cha Yechudet Tata, Yeshua is a much lower level than Moshe Rabbeinu. Masha'en Kim Berchas Zan begins with Baruch, which is Gilu Yechudet Ilah Bittul Amiti. So he says like this, even though halachically, the reason why Neidal Cha, we're just learning this between Mincha Ma'ariv and the Dinim of Brachas, why doesn't Neidal Cha begin with Baruch Atah? Because it just ends Baruch Atah Hashem Azan Sakel. So the ending is good for a new beginning, so to speak. But here the Rabbi is explaining al Chassidus, why isn't there a bracha at the beginning of Neidal Cha? Because Neidal Baruch means Yechudet Ilah. You bring down the level of Atah, all that, the higher level. Neidal Cha is Yeshua's level, which is Yechudet Tata. That's what the pasuk says. The land that brings out food. He quoted before. The Gemara asks a question like this. It says, Al Haaretz v'al Hamazin. So there's only one thing per bracha. Why is it saying two things per bracha? And the Gemara answers what it means is not Haaretz and Mazin, the Haaretz that brings the Mazin, which is the Birudim of Tehu. Shema Malchus Meveres Esam Vaydeis Ha'elim and Echlalim Atzilis in the level of man. In the Aveda of Mayim Nukva means the Serusa de L'Sato, and then it becomes the level of Mad, which is like a Serusa de L'Elo, or Meich and Chadoshim, and a new level of Meich. So he says like this. First you have the Gilui Mumayla, the Moshe Rabbeinu bringing down the level of the Mon, which is higher than Teil and Tikkun and all that stuff. Then you have the second level of Birudim of food, the earth that brings out the food. That means the elevation of Gashmias, the sparks of Tehu, to elevate it to the level of back higher than it was before. So he says, that's the avodah of, he calls it man, mayim nukva means the feminine water, which is the same thing as Isarusa de L'Sato, the awakening from below, which awakens mad, mayim tchurin, the masculine water, which is basically Isarusa de Eila. So that's the level of taking Gashmias and elevating the Teruchmias. The man is elevated. There's no psalus in the man. There's no garbage in the man. So therefore, that level is, you don't need birudim. Just like food becomes refined in the stomach and in the liver, and it goes up to the heart, and that's the way a person is able to live. Okay, all the mazolis, the mazolis origin. What's the source of the mazolis? Is the sediment of the malachim, the gaver malgaver malchus tatzilis, which is dvar havaya. Okay, there's a bunch of just look. Okay, malchus tatzilis is called eretz and mafkamazim. Okay. This is what we say in the bracha of Haaretz, Mazain Valachilas Mazain. There's two things we say, Mazain al oretz v'al mozain, and then we also say v'al achilas mozain shatuzan v'fanis son tamid. So there's the mozain, and then there's the achilas mozain, the eating of the mozain. I know amshach esaker ba'aretz, to reveal the power in the earth. Shebechinas malchus, earth is the level of malchus. The Vada Rabbi Rurim, to elevate the spark of Rapachni Tzutzim of the 288 sparks, and to elevate it from the sparks that fell down in Shviras HaKelim to be elevated in Lamaila. So you have the mozain, the food, and then we have Achilas mozain, the eating of the food, meaning elevating the sparks of the mozain. So basically, the whole bracha Azanas Ha'elam is Momaila Lamata. Moshe Rabbeinu bringing down Azanas Ha'elam, the level of Nister, the level of Hayun, Teil, and Tik, and all that, which is complete bittul. The man had no junk to it, no waste. The modern is the tal, the highest of levels. And then it comes the level of Yeshua, which is Yichud Tata, taking the Gashmis and making it, refining it. Therefore, how does the second bracha benching go? Neida lecha, submission. Umistayames bebracha. And then it ends with Baruch Ata, umevarchem Eisach, ki Baruch hainu amshachas mimchinas chachmi ilah, bittul amiti. Baruch, generally speaking, the level of Baruch means bring down Ata. Every bracha is Baruch Ata, right? So Ata is you bringing down the essence of Hashem. Haidah, which is Yichudei Ilah. Right? Complete bit. Haidah is Bechinas Yichudei Tata Bittul Hayesh. Again, when you say, I agree with you, now we learned this in another mime of the Alter Rebbe. When it says, Meidem B'Shamid L'Beisilul or whatever, Haidah means, if I agree with you, that means technically there's another opinion, and I submit myself. In other words, in the case of the Gemara, Beis Hillel and Beis Shammai are arguing about a din, and then Beis Hillel agrees and Beis Shammai agrees, in a certain circumstance you're right. That's in Gemara, made the whatever, right? Which means like this, there's another opinion, and I submit my opinion to your opinion. That's the level of Bittul Hayesh. That's Yichud Tata. Yichud Tata means there is a world, there are 7 heavens and earth, there are 4 corners of the world, the Ches of Echad, yet they're subjugated and bottled to the Aleph. That's the level of Yichud Tata. So that level you could say, Neida Lecha, not only thank you, symbol means thank you, but it's Eidah, Bittul. That level is Shaykh Bittul. There's Gashmias, the sparks that fell down, right? And that level, the Yid it elevates to Kedusha, shows that this is not a contradiction to Lukus, this is God. Yichudei Law, there's no level of Haidah, there's no level of submission, admittance, agreeing. There's no other opinion. So that's why the first bracha is a much higher level than the second bracha. But in order to have, where does a Jew get the koyach and the ability to make bittul hayesh, to take the yesh and make it nothing? Where do we get this koyach from? It comes from the revelation of above, of Yichudei Ilah. Tzarech li is bracha v'amshach zeh. Mepchin is Yichudei Ilah from the higher level, from the brachas hazan. The Yichudei Ilah she'em im tchila. Shemisham mamshich and mepchin is bracha. Okay, so therefore, like he said before, where is Moshe Rabbeinu revealing in the first bracha benching? Third person, meaning something which is completely above us. It's not at all in the realm of tangibility, seeing, feeling, whatever. It's an infinitely much greater level. And that gives the Jew the koyach to bring down Tanei Dalacha, to be able to have Yichud Tata, to become Bat, because if not, think about it. There's a Yesh. Where do we get the power to make the Yesh into Bat Bittul? We can't do it on our own. It has to come from a power from above. Elias as Mafka Mazim Bittul Yesh, like it says in the Zohar. And the pasuk will also take shoyim bir that take. That's the refining of the good of the pachni tzutzis. A maseh bizman de'in on yemei shemayim. Without the days of the heaven, what's in the head and Elah when you have the higher revelations of Elokus. So he says this is the order of benching. In order to have bittul hayesh of neidalacha ala oret v'lamazin the level of birurim of elam atehu, that only can follow Yichud Elah.
What does it mean, Eretz Demakaya Mazon?
Eretz Mafka Mazon, he quoted that Gemara before, that the earth that brings out the food. Quote before the Gemara in Bracha says, how do you say Al Eretz Val Mazon? You don't say two things in one Bracha. You see, you have separate Brachas, right? You don't say two things in, so how do you say Eretz and Mazon? So the Gemara says it doesn't mean Aretz and Mazon. It means the earth that brings out the food. Eretz, the mafke. Mafke in Aramaic means brings out the food. So he says, what is this concept? Amshacha Yichud Elah b'Yichud Tata. The revelation of the Yichud Elah. That Einoid Mulvada. Into Yichud Tata. Li'ezbit alayesh. O kamei shetal ha-shemayim v'yerev v'nimshich l'lach lecha. What does do? What's it do? Dew comes down and makes the earth wet. Right? That means the dew comes from this lofty level and it affects the earth. Many things grow from dew. Right? So that's the way dew comes down, that super high level comes down and influences the earth. That itself, the water, coming either from rain or dew, gives the ability to plant everything called minei meichel. Like it says, mimeget for shemesh, from the sun comes certain grains, sweetness. Through this, that the sun hits the earth. It says like this, when the sun comes down, the hottest part of the sun is on the earth, when it hits the ground. Because then it hits it and it bounces back. Right? So therefore he says like this, the power the air closest to the ground, is hotter than the earth, than the air in the middle. Right? It's hotter on the ground than it is 10 feet up. Because, so why, he uses the expression, it hits the earth with kayach, and then it bounces back, which is or chayzer, by the way. That's the way the sun produces tvur. Because the pasuk says in Zaysa Brach, there's certain, Rashi says over there, there's certain things that come from the sun, and there's certain things that come from the earth. From the moon. So how does it work with the sun? It hits the earth, it awakens the koyach of growth in the earth, awakens the koyach of the growth in the earth, then it also has the rain, and that elevates all those sparks.
Godliness.
Huh?
Godliness.
What?
The God in those is spark.
The godliness in the spark, yes. Through this, that the earth brings out food, through the power of vegetation in the earth. Nevertheless, how do the things grow? It has to be it still needs everything. In order for things to grow, there's a lot of partners here. You have the sun, you have the power of vegetation in the earth, you have the rain, or the dew, whatever. So, and everything together mixes together, and then you reveal that koyach of the tzemeach in the earth that allows it to grow. But each one has its uniqueness. It comes from Mila from the sun, then the rain, and whatever. Im kol zeh davka idei im kol zeh davka idei shemekabeles mishamayim talum matav shemesh. V'chein ein loch esav mamat. The Gemara says there's no grass down here. She'ein le mazel mumayla. That doesn't have a mazel from above. Hamaka that hits it and says grow. That means it has to come a koyach from above also. V'kach l'mayla. Af agav the shem ban is the level of eretz. Mevare abirum dem pachli is bittul hayesh. V'zau inyan lechem in ha-shemayim. I'm sorry, lechem in ha-eretz. It still comes from the waters of the heaven. The Nar and Allah that shines upon it. I'm sorry, now Nar Shemai means the lights of the sky. Nar means the light. Which is Bechinas Tal. Okay? So he says the only way you can have Neidel Chala Aretz Vala Mozain is through the koyach of above. You can't do this on your own. It's impossible for, like the Alter Rebbe uses the expression many times in Tanya. The Gemara has an expression, Ein chavish mater satzmei. A prisoner cannot free himself. If you're stuck in the pit, you can't get out. You need somebody outside you to help you get out. Now, when the neshama is imprisoned in the nefesh habamis, how in the world do you think the neshama is going to be able to elevate the sparks? Like, so there you get the koyach mumayla, the koyach from above, hazan sa'ela, Moshe Rabbeinu bringing down that koyach, and that gives the Jew the koyach to do all that. Like it says in Vatet Tetzaveh. Moshe Rabbeinu brings down this emunah and das into the person to internalize it, and then the yid is able to have the love of Mesiras Nefesh.
Coffee helps a little.
Coffee helps a little bit. It's like the rain, it's not the main thing. V'gam Moshe b'chinas shimsha, and Moshe is also the level of the sun, because the Gemara says, like it says, apasik v'yaschanim, which means the Gemara says. Moshe is like into the sun, and Yeshua is like into the moon. So Moshe Rabbeinu is also the Shemesh. What's the Shemesh? The Shemesh is the Gilu Mamayla. Through this comes the koyach in the earth, the vader to be fine, and to make bittul hayesh and biyah. Okay. Okay, top of the page. What is the purpose of the bracha of second bracha? Therefore he says like this. Now he's answering up Chassidus. What does it mean? We mentioned this now. The Gemara asks the question, how do you have two things, Aretz and Mazin? So the Gemara says, no, it means the Aretz that brings out the Mazin. So it's really one thing. Now he says, it's Ein Zekel Chesim Shtayim El Chodehi. Eretz the Mafke Mazin. Because Dafka in the level of Eretz, does it bring down the Mazin of Hazana Sa'olam? In other words, like this, you get the Kayach from above to do the Birurim. Then when you elevate the sparks of Tehil, they go higher than before. That means they go higher than Tehil. So that's the level of Hazan. Through the Aretz, you get the Zan. The Mazin. Yeah. What? Whatever you say. Then it continues in the bracha. The land that he gave to Avisei, Eretz Chamdo Teva Chavo, right? The land, Eretz Teva Chavo. Now, he says, what does that mean? Even though Yichud wise. Yichud Ilah means Einoid Movade. Yichud Tata means there is a world which is but. So even though simply Yichud Ilah is higher than Yichud Tata, but what's the purpose in Aveda? Yichud Tata. Im kozare tachas abriya. She adira betachtainim daika. Meaning it should be yesh and bittul yesh. So he says, even though level-wise, Yichud Ilah is higher, but bittul-wise, the purpose of Aveda is Yichud Tata. Because Hashem wants a dira b'tachtein. If he wants Eined Movadik, then there's no tachtein. In Lamed Vav, the Alter Rebbe, Perek Lamed Vav, the Alter Rebbe asks the question, how do you say dira b'tachteinim? Hashem's all over, how do you have low? If you're all over, there's no higher or low. Higher means closer, lower means further. If you're all over the place, there's no higher or lower. Right? So what does Alter Rebbe answer in Tanya? It doesn't mean spiritually, it means in Gilui. In the world where, of course Hashem is all over, but in the world where there is absolutely no feeling of it all, ain't tachten l'matim, and there's mamish no feeling of elukus at all. Over there, he wanted a dira b'tachtein. Right? That's the ultimate level of bittul hayesh. Bittul hayesh means, and the bigger the yesh, the more bittul there is. The greater the aveda bittels, rather. So he says, even though Yichud Ilah is higher than Yichud Tata, or to give you another simple mashal, the Alter Rebbe in Tanya asked the question, what's the purpose of the Beinoni coming down here, fight? He can never win. So what's the purpose of him? We learned that Wednesday night. Yeah, so the question, why does the Beinoni come down? So the Alter Rebbe explains that there's two delicacies. They're sweet and they're sour. Or bitter. Yeah? People like them both. Aseli matamim. Nevertheless, you want to revive somebody who fainted, you don't give him sugar. You may give him something sharp to smell. Give him something very sharp to smell, right? Dafke, that revives the nefesh. So what's the Alter Rebbe saying over there? The Alter Rebbe is not saying that there's an evade of the Beinoni. He's saying that in a certain detail, the evade of a Beinoni is higher than the evade of a tzaddik. In other words, level-wise, of course a tzaddik is higher than a Beinoni. He has no Yetzirah, this guy's a Yetzirah. But who's in a bittul level, who has a higher level of bittul? The Beinoni has a much higher level of bittul than the tzaddik has. Even though, which by the way, Yichud Ilah, Yichud Tata. But a tzaddik has no nefesh habamis, there's only Yichud Ilah. The Beinoni has Yichud Tata, bittul hayesh. So even though level-wise, there's level-wise, and there's Aveda-wise. Level, the head is higher than the heel. But Aveda-wise, Mesirus Nefesh is only in the heel, not in the head.
The heel cannot function.
Huh?
Without the head, the heel cannot function.
Correct. It comes from the Gilui Mamayla.
You need the heel to do the top.
That's what we're learning. You need Yichud Ilah first to be able to accomplish Yichud Tata. Yes? But Yichud Tata, bottom line is the ultimate purpose of creation. Dira b'tachtein. That means the level of Nis'ava Kodesh Baruch Hu Taivad, which is, you can't ask any shy questions, right? The question is why. This is what it wants, meaning it comes from a level of Elokus, which is way, way, way above Ishtalshalis. That's only done and accomplished through Tachtein. Another two more simple examples of this. You have generals and you have foot soldiers. The head is the generals. Yeah? But who wins the war? Not the generals. Foot soldiers. But nowadays you press buttons, you win, I mean, whatever, but I'm talking in normal times. Yeah? You fight the foot soldiers, so who accomplishes more? The foot soldiers.
And they also get all the...
Right, all the treasures that are normally not...
If the generals don't make the right decisions, the foot soldiers win.
Yeah, but they're right.
Which one's
You
that?
need the generals to guide the foot soldiers what to do.
But the work is the foot soldier.
The work is the foot soldiers. The Mesiras Nefesh is the foot soldiers. We have a lot of examples of that.
So the first bracha for the Tanazon is Yichud the second
Yeah.
for the Tata.
Yep. That's what he says.